All right, time to head back to schools. We all know, and that means you're going to see more kids out and about and a lot of school buses on the road.
Yeah, we got to be safe again. Well, we should be safe all the time, but especially focused. While the kids are told to be careful when they're walking to and from school, those around those kids also have a big responsibility. So let's get out to Gibby, who is live at the Spectrum Elementary in Gilbert with some important safety tips that we should all keep in mind as we head back to school. Gib?
Good morning. Yeah, here's the deal. We all tend to make our own rules when it comes to crossing the street, and there are some things we need to follow, especially if we've been going to work and we're running late. Where now school zones are active. And remember, 15 means 15. The other thing is, the tricky part is, do not try to pass, because if a vehicle's stopped, you don't know why they're stopped. And you know what? They're going to be paying attention. I want to join Daryl Kruger here, who's a sergeant with the Gilbert Police Department. All these that I've mentioned, along others. When you say it's 15 miles an hour, it's 15 miles an hour.
It's 15 miles per hour. The kids are so unpredictable. You don't know what you're going to face. They may run into the street after their friend. They could be on their bicycle, fall over. There's any number of things that might cause them to end up in the lane of traffic. So we want to make sure that 15 means 15 miles per hour.
We have a couple of guys here on their bikes here, checking their speed, making sure they're going, but it's above that as well. Speed is one thing, but it's just knowing what you can and cannot do around the schools.
That's exactly right. Of course, speed isn't a factor in every collision, because if all cars were going zero, there would be none. But there are other things too that lead to collisions, and that could be people blocking bicycle lanes, forcing people out into the road, including pedestrians if they block a sidewalk, for instance. And then another important topic that we want to cover is, when school buses are stopped in the road, if there's not a barrier between your car and the school bus and the stop sign's out, you need to come to a stop.
You would be amazed at how people don't understand that part of it, and we can't express how many times we see that a bus is stopped, you see the stop sign out, and folks just blow right past it.
They go right past it, either unaware or not paying attention. Again, attention's always a factor. When that school bus stop sign comes out, you're obligated to stop. If you're on the same side of the road and there's no barrier, or if you're on the other side of the road and there's no barrier, you got to stop.
This is also a great time for parents who are not walking their kids to school to let them know crosswalks are a huge thing. That's what they're there for. Make sure you use them. And a lot of these schools always have crossing guards as well. Please obey by the crossing guards.
That's exactly right. The crosswalks are marked. They're designated for people to cross, and they're manned by a person who's going to help them get across the street safely. That's what we want to make sure. Use those crosswalks.
One of the things I love you guys do every year, you guys have people posted at the schools, and one of the reasons why is you're reminding them. You want them to see you. You want them to know this is no joke here. We're gonna pull you over right away, because you have to obey all these when it comes to these schools, not only in the morning, but in the afternoon when they're going home as well.
That's right. We have a strategy at the Gilbert Police Department. Our traffic unit assigns officers to schools, and they rotate through to do enforcement. The thing you got to remember is that enforcement is zero tolerance. In addition, the state law can double the fines in those areas. So driving slowly in those school zones, very, very important.
What's the biggest thing, the takeaway here from these guys? I mean, when you come in, you say you move from out of state. This is the same thing wherever you lived, is just use that common sense and make sure you're watching for kids.
Increased awareness, increased patience. If you can find the signs and pay attention to it, you're not in a rush, you're likely going to have a safe commute.
All right, guys, as we had mentioned, Chandler had started, Gilbert, Mesa, pretty much all the schools are going to be back in session. You will see the 50-mile-per-hour signs, and I can't stress enough, in all the years that I've been doing this, you see people stopped for kids and then another car because they're rushing, try to get around them. That's a big no-no, too. There's a reason why it says no passing in these lanes. Look out for kids, and if you have kids going to school, and whether they're using their scooters or their bikes, please inform them as well. Yeah. Crosswalks are a big thing, and you got to listen to those crossing guards. They're there for a reason.
You're right about that, Gibby.
Let's hope it's a very safe back to school.
We don't want any stories
year.
regarding that.
Thank you, Gib.
Thanks.